Hello, 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 and namaste to today's Love Satsang about reprogramming your subconscious, the power of your belief regarding your identity and your reality. In essence, also how to manifest your dream life. Because if we wind back, reality is a product of your identity. Identity is a product of your belief system or your energetic field, which is constituted by your or resulting from your belief system. So, in essence, all comes down to looking at your beliefs, what you repetitively think, what then turns into a habit, into action, into reactions, into your state of being, and then reflected back as a reality. And maybe you have found this video because you already digged deeper into manifestation processes. Maybe it's something completely new. Whatever is the case, you are here to most probably look deeper beyond the norm of people, how to actually twist and tweak this reality in your favor. Because as we know, and we are in this transitioning phase of humanity, and especially if you're in my field and have already consumed anything of my content, then you know more than the average of people, and you started questioning, and you start remembering your power of, actually, I can influence this reality much more than I thought, or that I have been conditioned to think. And there we are also at the key word for belief system, because most of us, yeah, all of us actually have a conditioning from childhood, from parents, from family, from ancestors. We have a conditioning from society, from the culture where we grew up in, the country, also the language in that sense, which words you use, which vibrate in your system, your religion, if you're dedicated, devoted to any of those, and also from your past experiences, and resulting from that in the other direction, your future anticipations. So all somehow comes down into our brain and constitutes this neural network of, this is how I am, or who I am, how I perceive myself, and how I relate to reality, or how I think reality is, or what the truth of reality is. And the truth of the truth is that there are multiple truths happening at the same time for each and every one of us. We see a tiny glimpse of what is possible. And your belief system is the base of what you think is possible, is the base of, okay, I'm operating in this framework and navigating my life in this framework. I believe certain beliefs, and that's why something is as it is, or appears as it is. Yeah. Someone else looking at the same situation, the same problem, same pattern of you would completely think or perceive something different. Yeah, even if it's slight difference, because we all have these filters, and these filters where we navigate life through are also based on our belief system. So I invite you today to, not as always, to not just listen, but to pick also your belief system, in the sense of, most of us have certain beliefs or patterns stemming from beliefs that bother us, that we want to change, that we want to eliminate from our system somehow, because we perceive like, this is somehow limiting me, or this is not contributing to my well-being, this is not contributing to my health, this is not contributing to my purpose, and so forth. So for this, as always, I invite you to actively participate in the teachings by choosing today one of those beliefs or patterns you want to transform, to let go, to transform, to alchemize, to somehow twist and tweak so it contributes to your well-being. Yeah, so that is supporting you on your path and not limiting or restricting you. This is the reason why we want to reprogram ourselves, because we want to live a more fulfilled life. Yeah, always coming back to, why do we do it? It's not just the fanciness of, okay, I can reprogram myself, but the core reason is, I want a fulfilled life. Yeah, human sense. The human nature wants a fulfilled, happy, successful, abundant, whatever it means for you specifically, life. We want to live also much more purposeful nowadays. We want to live in love. We want to live from our soul. As you know, this is always coming back to soul with me. We want to live an authentic life, somewhere where we can feel and see and in all our senses perceive this is truly who I am, and this is truly why my soul came here to perceive and experience this specific reality or these different versions of myself that make up the whole picture, your whole life book, so to say. Belief system is the base of your reality. So many people start vice versa. They look at reality and like, ah, this is somehow not in line with my nature, or this is limiting me, this is bothering me, this is not what I really want in life. And then they try to fix, in a way, this outer reality. And as we know, and I assume also a lot of you who watch this video are already at the stage of there's something deeper behind it. So these people who are outside looking try and try and try and try. If you don't touch the belief system, you can try endlessly. Maybe sometimes it works, but usually not long term if it works. So it always comes back down to the energetics and the psychology of yourself to switch something outside. And therefore, this topic also today I've chosen because the 2 weeks ago, maybe you've joined, I've held an online workshop here on YouTube Live about soul-based identity shifting. And for reality, for identity, your belief system, as I said in the beginning, is a touch point, is a beginning of change. Not reality is a change. You're not trying to fix something outside, but you look internally, change internally, and then the outside reflects back to you what you change inside. Why reprogramming? I would love to introduce you to my terminology maybe first, and maybe you've also already digged a little bit in my podcast episodes. I have, I think, like a quite old one on reprogramming as well. So maybe you want to listen to that as well. Because we as a human being, I mean, that's not the I. I always distinguish a little bit for understanding between the soul and the human avatar. The I oftentimes is the identity you perceive as your limited human self operating here in this life game. But on a higher level, it's your soul navigating this human avatar. It's a little bit like really playing a game. Yeah, I want you to visualize yourself as your soul is the master playing out inside this body, through this body, making experiences, really like a character in a game. And so you can imagine yourself, your human avatar, really like an avatar, like a computer, like a computer. It's a very technical approach to it, but I feel it's a very good metaphor, even not even metaphor, but really like a deeper sense of meaning in it when you see this, yeah, what you can touch, feel, and so forth, also as a computer running a base operating system, so to say, your breathing, your blood circulation, all these organ functions, so many things that happen automatically without you having to think. And on top of this base program running on your human avatar, you have programs, yeah, like computer programs, or like on your smartphone apps running on your computer, on your human avatar. And all these little programs are sets of beliefs, sets of thinking patterns, so to say, yeah, constituting one program. And in other terms, you can also say it's conditioning. All these programs you are running on side of this computer program to execute something are coming back to your belief system. And these different programs also interact, of course. So you have kind of like a whole computer game also inside of you in that sense, reflecting to the outside what you attract. Yeah, it's this back and forth in a way. What you program on side of you, that is executed outside. What you see, perceive outside, experience outside is coming back to one program running inside of you, belief system. I hope that makes sense for you. For some, it may be more, yeah, a metaphor that works better, maybe more the masculine approach. If you don't really resonate with it, it's also okay. But reprogram is really a way of understanding you are not these programs, you can change them. That's maybe the essence of it also. You have programs from conditioning, from belief system, but you can also change it. And most people have an operating system and programs from conditioning that are not chosen consciously, that are not their sovereign choice. We start all of it. All of us actually start with that. Yeah. We have programs running on our human avatar that we haven't chosen. Not really, or not questioned. And when this questioning happens, then you remember, actually, I can change the belief I have about myself and about reality. And that is when you remember the power of your creatorship, where you come back to soul, human avatar, disidentification or disidentification from the over identification, detachment from the over identification of this, what you are or what you believe you are, beliefs, programs, detachment, tapping back into, my soul is here and can choose what programs, what beliefs run on this human avatar to experience a different reality. And this mechanism we can use to consciously manifest our reality, shape, shift our identity. And that's the fun part. Yeah. It's not only in the sense of I want to get rid of old programs, but also the playful approach of enjoying this game of life again. Yeah. Two versions, like clearing out the bugs and the programs that are not healthy for your current evolution, and then installing the new programs, new beliefs that are beneficial, that are contributing to the reality you want to experience, contributing to the identity you want to live, embody. Same as with computer, coming back to this analogy always and again. Base operating system, programs, and these programs can also be deleted, can be updated, can be upgraded, can be installed new, can be erased, name it. Same as in a computer. And I feel this is quite a fun approach to look at your human avatar operating here in this dimension. Yeah. When we go a little bit more into the human felt experience, we have the programs. These are the sets of beliefs to make it more practical. You have beliefs installed of your human avatar, and on that, your human avatar operates on. If you want to change your reality, you need to change these programs. You need to change these belief systems. Once you change the beliefs, your human avatar adapts and executes in a new way. The challenge often is that these programs, these beliefs, your belief system in total, is something that is stored subconsciously, not always consciously available. It's a deeper layer so that you are not always occupied by it. So it's a beneficial, efficient way of your system actually to keep these things vibrating as a background, operating element without you having to always think about it. Otherwise, we would have too many thoughts. So many things are happening automatically, and these are subconscious mechanisms because once beliefs have become a repetitive program, like a really ingrained program, they happen automatically in the subconscious. Efficient, but challenge is that you need to dig first deeper inside of you to really pinpoint, these are these beliefs running inside of me in automatism. Because the brain, our system, is smart that it reverts back to what is familiar, what is comfortable, what in that sense doesn't need to change. Change needs at first, at least, a little bit more effort. And our system is the smart program is that it is based on efficiency, automatism, familiarity, comfort, certainty, survival, safety. So we have to dig deeper into our subconscious and really make a conscious decision. I want to change that. First of all, I want to see deeper into my programming. What is running on my human avatar? If you have a specific scenario, a specific pattern that always repeats, for example, you always attract the same type of partner. Very common example. Same pattern fires automatically. Pattern is in a way based on the belief system you have. So you have a certain belief system stored inside of you, which triggers that pattern, and that pattern attracts the same reality. To break that pattern, we have to dig deep, as I said, and look at the beliefs we store inside. You can try to change a pattern over and over again. If you don't change your belief system, long run, it's difficult, if not impossible, to really make it change. Yeah, to make a break in this pattern and to reverse engineer or to, yeah, install a new program so that you can experience a new reality and in terms of that example, attract another type of partner. Makes sense? That I have to go into myself consciously, conscious decision to set and first of all identify these are the beliefs behind the pattern. These are the beliefs behind the pattern, triggering the pattern. Yeah. And once you have that, it is about detaching from these beliefs. Because oftentimes we are so attached to a belief system, not knowing even about it, because it has become automatic, it has become part of our identity, that we first have to disidentify from the pattern so that we can look at it more clearly. If you're too much attached to it, it's kind of like stuck onto you. You won't notice it. It's the same when I have this on here and run around this my whole day. I don't even notice that I have this on, this clothes. But if I put it off, I can look at it from different angles. Same with a belief system. If I hold on to it so tightly, then it's hard to see it. I have to make a conscious break to look at it, to be maybe also courageous enough and honest enough with yourself to, I have this belief. Sometimes it's helpful to know where it comes from, usually childhood or past experiences, but not necessary in our current times, especially when everything is so fast, I feel like quantum fast. Yeah, a lot of quantum field navigation. Then you don't have to dig too much too long in the past. It's my personal opinion. But it's helpful for some to know, okay, this is where it comes from, and then to also tweak and twist this experience, what you had, that contributed to having that belief in the first place. Look at your belief. This belief is leading to that pattern. Maybe also this is the trigger that fires that pattern. Why I react to someone like this, why I contract in certain situations, why I cannot come over a certain amount of money, why I always end up somewhere in a situation where I don't feel loved or seen or heard. Yeah, name it or use your example, your personal example, why something affects you. And then when you have this belief, looking at it, oftentimes the mind goes in analyzing, overthinking, judging, criticizing, making you smaller or down. It shouldn't be like this. Why do I have this belief system? Yeah, a lot of fighting against this belief. Sometimes also the ego more than you. Yeah, or your soul is never fighting. The ego fighting against this belief because, of course, there is maybe a part of you triggered also anger. Anger about, I don't want this pattern to happen all the time. Or maybe even you have tried to change it, this pattern that appears based on belief system, that you feel somehow I have tried so many things already, why it's still there. Yeah, so anger may come up. then it is important to, what is part of detaching, to be honest, to neutralize it by accepting it. Accept the pattern, accept the beliefs behind the pattern that you may have identified already. Accept the triggers. Acceptance is in general for always, and again, it's a neutralizing mechanism and it helps you to detach. Acceptance. It is what it is. It is right now what it is. Yeah? Because then it also brings you more into this exhaling of, okay, I am looking now at this pattern. I'm looking now at the beliefs. I'm deciphering, identifying more of these beliefs. And to have love, so much love about yourself, for yourself, that you find compassion. Okay, I have these beliefs, I have these patterns, they are for a reason there. And I love myself now to accept it. And I love myself even more to look at it so much that I can change it. I love myself enough to change it to be worthy of something else. Yeah. Self-compassion, non-judgment, acceptance. It's one very important step, I feel, in this process when we want to change something about ourselves, our reality, our identity, our belief system. Neutralization happens in this phase. Pattern identification, belief identification, maybe trigger identification, detachment, neutralization, acceptance, non-judgment. Yeah. And afterwards, I'm going a little bit in the sequence of how to unravel patterns. I'm always also somehow tapping into the field. So, if you have a step-by-step approach, sometimes that helps to navigate more easily. And after this neutralization, you have your belief, your pattern, your belief, your set of beliefs, your pattern. You can look at it with more clarity. Because what happens also in this neutralization detachment phase is that you draw back your energy in that sense, that you draw back the identification with that you make it external from your identity, and that you also detach your emotions from it. If there's an emotional involvement, it's difficult to detach. Neutralization, acceptance, stepping back, looking at it. Yeah. What then I can suggest is to see which part of me. You are not everything, yeah? Part work, I always work with parts. You are, this part wants this part of me wants this part of me wants this. In that sense, here's a part that is still clinging to a belief system, to a pattern for a reason. Even if it's just the reason that it is familiar, that it was always the way you did something, or that it was always the way you reacted, or that it was always the way you spoke about something. Or familiarity is already a reason why some part of you is clinging to this belief. Because I know sometimes we have belief or like patterns where we're like, why is this still there when I hate it? when I feel so outgrown of it. Often it's also there just because it's familiar. It has been repeated over and over and over again, that it became somehow part of the automatism of your avatar, human avatar, your program, like an automatism, fired up once a trigger, the same trigger, similar trigger is hit. And this part, you can ask, why do you hold on to this belief, this pattern? Why do you hold on to it? Yeah, really, as if you speak to yourself internally, or can also speak with your hand and externalize it. And then you have a different part who is tired of, sick and tired of this pattern and thinks like, no, I have outgrown this. I want something else. This is limiting me. I'm already far further ahead in my evolution. I want something else. You have two parts inside of you oftentimes in this phase of, I want to change something. I want to shift something inside of me, my belief system. To also ask this other part, what do you want instead? And then become to the intention. What do you actually want instead of the old program? What do you want instead? If you come back to the computer analogy. One part is running the same old program, automatism. And the new part is like, oh, there's a new program actually also available. Yeah, your human self is already tapping into the app store, searching for this program, or has already seen it from watching others, for example, or getting a channel, a download from your higher self, from your soul. There's a new program that's actually much more beneficial for me to install. New program, you see it already and you want to install it. So this part is already very much aware actually what you actually want, what you want instead of the old program. Yeah. And then you have these two parts having both their statements. I'm holding on to it. I'm wanting the new one. I'm circulating in the old mechanism. I'm already seeing the new one here, upgrade, update, available. And then it is a third kind of layer, or a third part, if you want to see it like this, connected to your higher self, to your higher intelligence, to your soul, to the divine consciousness, making a conscious decision to break the old and install the new. This needs a little bit of willpower and determination and focus, clarity about this program that is already available, waiting for you to be installed, and awareness of what keeps you still looping in something old, and choosing consciously to, even though this is still running, this old stuff, consciously choosing to make this new program, new belief system, new set of beliefs, new pattern you want instead, make it more dominant in your perception, in your state of vibration even. Yeah. So it's in a way of, what beliefs, to make it a little bit more practical maybe, what beliefs do I need to think instead to have a different outcome? Because we want to change the pattern and the beliefs behind it, but actually we want to change the reality, right? It's always this way or this way. You have a reality, a pattern, a belief, or belief, pattern, reality. So if you want to really go into the new program, there needs to be this channel of, I make the conscious sovereign choice to choose another set of beliefs, to be very clear about what kind of beliefs do I need to install, what kind of program is this that needs to be installed on my human avatar to manifest XYZ, to be that certain character you want to experience here in life, to attract something very specific. It's a little bit also actually a design process, I feel, a design of yourself, of this human avatar. And I oftentimes mention The Sims. The Sims is a computer game. It's similar. I mean, you sit on the computer and you design your Sims. It's the same. Your soul is there and sitting. I design my human avatar. And of course, if you followed me, there's a base essence you have come here with, and that's unchangeable, untouchable. And that's something you carve during your life. But on top of that, you can choose. You can choose these programs to be installed. Yeah, and usually also you don't have to worry too much if you're in your soul, if you're in your heart and not in ego. You will automatically receive the insights, which programs, which beliefs you need to install for your next level evolution. To come further into your power, further back into your essence, further back into soul alignment. Yeah, this is maybe the most challenging part of this reprogramming process to have still this old, outdated set of beliefs and program running in the background, because it has become an automatism, and still be aware of that, and choose nevertheless this new program. For that, it helps to make your why do you want to change? Why do you want to shift? Why do you want to reprogram? To make your why bigger than what is dragging you down. And I have explained that also in my identity shifting workshop 2 weeks ago. There's always this old sucking you somehow back into the old, and then there's this new that wants to uplift you, and then they are pulling and pushing, and you have to this third layer of you has really to be stable enough to stabilize yourself enough to always revert back to your new belief system, new program. It's a process of repeating. Now we come a little bit further in the process of repeating the beliefs you want instead, the pattern you want instead. And for that, it also needs awareness. Once the pattern arrives again, or even before that, once you see or notice the similar or same trigger arrives where this pattern is fired, that you interrupt this process for a short moment, and instead of this automatism running, you choose the new one and think like, no, I'm now choosing this time differently. Even if it's a tiny different thing, you break already some part of this pattern. And that needs a little bit of time. Practice, repetition, as you know, like strengthening the muscle, make it grow, make it more dominant, until this somehow loosens its grip, loosens purpose. You lose also energy, because your energy is focused on the new, is on the new program, new belief system, new pattern, new reality, to make it more human-like. Usually it's more like, I want to have this reality, that's why I changed this pattern or belief system also. That this loses its grip, it falls away at some point. And then this new program automatically is installed at some point and becomes the new normal, At some point, so normal that you don't question it, that it's just also, again, dropped down into your subconscious and becomes an automatism. And then the whole process repeats in a way, because at some point your version has also outgrown this used to be new program or upgrade. And it's then this, what you once was the upgrade, becomes the downgrade, not downgrade, but like the base. You have reached a tipping point of, I'm ready for my next level version. Again, download comes, new program, and the same repeats. The same repeats. This is a little bit of a short, rough cut of how you break patterns that stem from beliefs. A pattern I used as an example because it's usually something that we quite easily notice in us. Of course, we also want to install, so to say, new programs just also for our identity. Identity shifting. When it comes to that, when I want to experience myself in a new version of myself, then also new beliefs need to happen that in turn create my new reality. Such as, a lot of people, of course, want a fulfilled life. And for fulfilled life means, for some, I want a financial freedom, I want a healthy body, I want a fulfilling soul-based job, whatever it is. And then to ask yourself, what beliefs or what set of beliefs do I need to embody this version that already has that? And maybe you know this technique or tool, technique, methodology of seeing yourself already there, already having it, already tapping into this version in the moment, and then reverse engineer in the sense of, okay, here and now, I need to have these beliefs to at some point come to that version, vibrate in that version. The belief system is always underneath everything. I feel this is somehow even something we should learn in school, because so many people run with automatic programs. Sometimes I'm like in my zone, in my world of programs and computer avatars, and I'm observing people in their patterns, in their mechanisms, in their habits. And I'm like, okay, because how people react, interact, speak, how they talk, which words they use. You can scan the field and already see, okay, these are the patterns running on them or the programs running on them. Yeah, it's sometimes also a good practice, not only to observe yourself, but also maybe your close friends, family, someone you know, or even someone you just meet, to scan their field in the way of, okay, they use these words or these phrases over and over again, or that this is the way they talk about themselves. Also very insightful. How someone talks about themselves reveals a lot about their self concept, which is based on a set of beliefs they have about themselves. For you, also, good to know, good to observe, to be aware of. How do you talk with yourself? How do you describe yourself to other people? How do you introduce yourself to others when they meet you the first time? All indicators of your belief system. Yeah. Because sometimes maybe also the challenge is not only, yeah, this what I explained. One challenge is to have this old program and want to get to the new program, and then there's this push and pull for a while, the in-between state. Another challenge is to first find out what are these beliefs that keep me repeating the same cycles or that keep me somehow in one version of myself. And for that, I can suggest to watch your own self-talk whenever it is in some form of criticism, of perfectionism, of downgrading yourself, of limiting yourself, of making yourself small. It is always the part of you that is wounded, that is ego, that is often also conditioned or is, yeah, somehow imprinted by your past, by past experiences. When they happen over and over again, you get this belief of, I'm like this, I'm this way. But you are never. You are never just one person. You're not just one version of yourself. And that's the fun part of reprogramming yourself, because you can switch your avatar in that sense. And by that also, I have talked about this in one episode in one podcast episode I called How the Soul Uses Identities as Costumes. Yeah. Where you, yeah, have different identities somehow to look through different lenses of self to reveal different layers of reality, that you can unlock different insights. So I mean, if I look back in my life, I have lived already lots of identities, also unconsciously. Yeah, we sometimes have just phases of life where maybe a certain life topic is very dominant, or life area, or a hobby, or whatever. So there are different identities we run through automatically, and all of these identities account to someone who you are today. And they also somehow always activate something inside of you that still vibrates in you, although you are not anymore that identity. Identities are activators, codes, templates, archetypes. And through this, your soul gathers, in my opinion, yeah, gathers, or this human avatar, if you're again in this play mode, in this game of life, your soul trains your human avatar and collects tools and, yeah, and equipment and techniques and skills, and meets people who activate again as well. You get ignited to unlock more potential of who you truly are, more insight into what existence is, a folding back of consciousness to itself. So belief, to come back to that, is such a powerful way. I mean, shifting beliefs, transforming beliefs, reprogramming yourself in that computer language is one of the most powerful tools you can use to change your reality, because it always comes back to that. Yes, under the beliefs is again one layer deeper, energy, as always. But belief is your mind, your mindset. I mean, whatever fires here in your brain emits an energy, a vibration, your energetic field, which in turn, yeah, translates to emotions, to actions, reactions, patterns, as we had, and repetitive actions, habits, and so forth make your identity, make interactive with the outside world your reality. If someone is remembering their truth, you won't come around changing your belief system. Because if you stay to the beliefs you hold onto your whole life, I mean, that's impossible in a way because you always shift somehow with each impression or expression and also experience. And also self reflection, you always shift some parts of your beliefs automatically. But still, it's like a limited framework. I've also talked about that in the identity shifting workshop. Limited framework. If you want to really make big leaps in life, and if you're one of those, I mean, not all are like this, but if you're one of those who wants to really make this game of life yours, then shifting beliefs is something you have to work with, in my opinion. It's something it's too powerful not to work with. And if there's another technique, you can comment to do it. I mean, it's obviously connected with identity shifting as well. But these programs on side of you, if you stick to one program or one set of programs, you won't unlock your full potential. You will operate in the same box always and always again. Maybe you dig into this corner of the box, in this corner, or maybe in the center. Yeah, still some movement, yes. But if you really want to experience life in its richness and fullness and in the limitlessness your soul truly is in its essence, you need to look outside of the box, or to, by shifting beliefs, to expand this box further and further and further. Because contraction is easy in that sense. You can always, if once you have this capacity of belief system, what is possible, how reality can function, and who you are, if you have it very big, you have so much space to move. You can even go back in the small kind of box you used to be. But if you have the small box and just stay there, you don't see all of that what is around. So also, sometimes, yeah, maybe there are some cases where you think like, yeah, maybe you watch someone you really find inspiring and you want to manifest something similar, or you see yourself in them because it's already a possible timeline for you that is somewhere wanting to be activated. Then it is oftentimes necessary to step out of this and break it at least a little bit open in your capacity to feel safe, to even dare to think, I could be that too. I could be there too. I could also do my own business. I could also have this fulfilling relationship. I could also drive this big car. I could also, yeah, name it. If you have someone you look up to, or if you're inspired by someone, and you are activated in that sense of, I don't know, maybe I'm also actually possible. It's possible for me too. Then it is already in your field. So it's just yeah, it's just a question of, do you allow yourself to change, to shift, to look at your beliefs, and to reprogram yourself in that sense that you can vibrate in the frequency to match the same similar timeline. Yeah, I know it is sometimes a bit technical here, but in essence, if you really sit down and see this again of my soul, my human avatar, programs that are belief system firing when a trigger is made into patterns, patterns repeat because they have become automatism, part of my identity, patterns, habits, actions go outward out from me and create a reality. And also, of course, my energy, my field, my vibration, even although you don't do anything, or already you emit something based on your energetic state, of course. Belief system is always, and again, the root, the root. I hope this analogy helps. Maybe you also want to find your own analogy, but it's one of the best analogies I can, or metaphors I can give you with this reprogram of your subconscious. And for me, it was important to, yeah, to share, especially this with the patterns of reprogramming your belief system and the patterns. And I know it sometimes feels like, oh, that's simple in real life, sometimes maybe not, sometimes easier if this old program hasn't been for so running for so long. It's easier, of course. If it's already there for a long time, it's harder to access, maybe. But maybe that's also just a belief. Yeah, maybe it's also just a belief. Sometimes it's a belief that something takes time, or that I'm not ready, or that I need first XYZ to do it. Sometimes also that is a belief that is more so a sabotaging belief that you can also look at and also reprogram into something more beneficial. And in that sense, even you can sit down and I sometimes feel, at least for me, this is a practice, a regular practice, to sit down and observe the mind, state of mind, the beliefs swirling around, maybe connected to patterns or habits or something that bothers you, or the reality manifestation that you want to change, and sit down like, okay, this belief I don't need anymore. This belief, oh yeah, I keep. This belief, cross it out. This belief, contributing. Yeah, kind of like an inventory. Yeah, of your internal state of being, to see which beliefs contribute and which beliefs are outdated, in that sense that you can install something new. Yes. So maybe after this, you want to make an inventory, or at least identify a set of beliefs that feels outdated, that feels not contributing to who you truly want to be, or who you want to experience life with. Then note this down and be honest with yourself, compassionate at the same time. As I said, accept what it is, and then switch it in your favor to make this update or upgrade of your human avatar. If you have any questions to this topic, I know for some it may have been a little bit more too technical today, but then feel free to comment below this video or share your own insight about it, maybe also something that is added to it. And we see each other in the next Love Satsang. Yeah. As always, also when you have anything you want to discuss in more depth, in more detail, or if you have any topic request, just leave it also in the comments and I will get back to it if it resonates with my field of transmissions. So much love and bliss, and see you next time. Doo-doo.